They came for the music. They left in ambulances. On the night of Astroworld 2021, the crowd didn't just cheer, they surged. Tens of thousands packed into a festival ground designed for spectacle, not safety. As the beat dropped and Travis Scott took the stage, the energy turned dangerous. The audience moved like a single, uncontrollable organism. People screamed. They gasped for air.
That's okay, MC, real quick.
Before the riots, before the headlines, before the lawsuits, there was Jacques Berman Webster too. Born in Houston, Texas, he wasn't always the embodiment of rage culture. In fact, he was quiet, studious, even sheltered. But early on, Jacques understood something that most artists take years to learn. That music isn't just about sound, it's about energy. And energy, when weaponized correctly, can move people in ways words never could. He became Travis Scott not in a moment of reinvention, but of combustion. The name was an homage to his uncle and Kid Cudi. Astroworld was meant to be a triumph. Travis Scott had returned to his hometown, not just as a performer, but as a king. The festival bore his name. The stage resembled a psychedelic amusement park. The branding, the merch, the giant golden inflatable of his head. It all screamed control, power, empire. But what unfolded that night was the exact opposite. Chaos spiraling beyond even Travis's appetite for disorder. As the crowd surged during his set, screams for help rippled through the audience. Some fans climbed onto camera platforms, begging for the show to stop. Others recorded the horror. Lifeless bodies, makeshift CPR, unconscious teens being hoisted above the crowd like debris, all while Travis continued performing. At one point, an ambulance crept through the sea of people, its lights flashing like a distress signal lost in a storm of bass and strobe. Travis saw it, paused, commented, then continued. Some say he didn't know. Others argue he didn't care. Regardless, the show went on. In the days that followed, the backlash was immediate and merciless. 10 dead, including a 9-year-old boy. Hundreds injured. Lawsuits flooded in. Over 2,500 plaintiffs. Social media exploded with footage, analysis, blame. The truth is, Astroworld wasn't a freak tragedy. It was the natural outcome of a brand built on disorder, a world where chaos wasn't a side effect, it was the product. Travis Scott didn't just perform in the fire. He sold it, marketed it, made it fashionable. For years, his shows blurred the line between concert and riot. He urged fans to rage, to ignore security, to break rules in the name of experience. He wore recklessness like a crown, turning mayhem into ritual. Fans were hospitalized, trampled. It was the failure of an entire persona. A persona that couldn't hit pause, not even when the lights of an ambulance were blinking in the middle of the pit. Travis saw it. He acknowledged it. Then he kept going. Because stopping meant breaking the illusion. And the illusion was everything. But beneath the fog machines and flashing lights, 10 people lay dying. Hundreds gasped for air. And the show went on. Not because no one saw, but because no one wanted to stop what they'd spent years building. In the end, the darkest truth wasn't that Travis Scott incited violence. It was that he built a world where violence felt normal, expected, inevitable. And when that world finally turned deadly, no one knew how or even if they were supposed to pull the plug. Because when chaos becomes the brand, who's willing to be the one to kill the music? At Hidden Fame, we don't see Astroworld as a one-night tragedy. We see it as the inevitable breaking point of a culture built on intensity without accountability. Travis Scott didn't stumble into chaos, he engineered it. From the earliest stages of his career, he cultivated an image of rebellion, of lawlessness, of euphoria pushed to the edge. And fans followed, not because they misunderstood, but because they believed in what he sold. That losing control was the point. But the industry doesn't just allow that kind of branding, it rewards it. Festivals booked him because of the energy. Brands partnered with him because of the hype. There was a time when Travis Scott was just a kid from Houston, making beats in his bedroom, dreaming of stages he hadn't yet touched. His world was small, his ambition massive. It doesn't stop, not even when people fall. Astroworld was supposed to be a homecoming. Instead, it became a reckoning. Some stories were never meant to be known. But now, you know,